Hello everyone, and welcome back to Brick Country. Mason here. So today, my plan is to modify and upgrade one of my personal favorite 3-in-1 Lego sets of all time. Now, Lego has already hit the ball out of the park with this 3-in-1 set. It met like all the criteria it needed, but my plan today is to make it more aesthetically pleasing, as well as more displayable. Because right now, its focus is a play set. I want to make it more of a display set, if that makes sense. And this is one of my first videos I'm making on more mock building. So I hope you guys enjoy. And without further ado, let's get started. Now, of course, the set I'm talking about is the Creator 3-in-1 Castle, set 31120. It is an amazing set, one of my favorite 3-in-1 sets. Yeah, it's an opening back function and a moat detail around it. But today in this video, I want to take this set a step further. Let's start off with the modified gatehouse. So the most obvious thing you'll notice probably at first is the snowy base. It's more of a snowy forest feel instead of the moat vibe going around the entire castle. I also changed up the red and white banners to blue and white because it's Black Falcon. I never got that with the first set. Why did they do more Lion Knight colors for a Black Falcon Knight set? So I changed that up. Basically, the first thing I did was change that actually. Then I removed the house section that was right here and made it more of a causeway, walkway, matching the vibe with the shield tiles going across the top. I, of course, kept the Black Falcon shield piece right there for the crest. Coming around to the back over here, of course, we have this amazing Battle Dwarf figure. I kind of just stuck him there because he's fun. And I turned the yellow house on the side to a dark stone gray color scheme and made it a storehouse instead of a bathroom like it previously was. We got these upper rooms, which I left basically the same. I also made it to where these upper portions are removable with the banner. They just sit on some jar plates, so that makes the whole process easier for moving it around. And also, it's just nice to have a more modular build. And then if I move this knight out of the way, you can see I raised up this doorway. I think it was supposed to be a window at first, but I made this one a full doorway and used the extra pieces to fill in this side so you can enter the castle through this way. And then there was a mechanism where when you pull it up, you flip a lever and it'll drop it because it's locking it as it goes. I took that out and made it just more tension on the line. So when I crank the knob and wind it up, it stays close. It is slightly loose, so like if I bump it, I can just push it down easy. It doesn't lock, but I like this function more personally. It just feels smoother without all the click, 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 and then having to use a separate mechanism when I can just rotate it with the same knob on the side. I kept the same knob piece actually, this more like wooden wheel, and I tried to keep the overall aesthetic of the castle the same with the dark stone gray and light stone gray highlights over it. And I think the gatehouse turned out very well indeed. I'm using the Black Falcon Knight torso and legs with the black helmet and plume. You can actually order all these minifigure parts off the Pick-a-Brick wall at the Lego store, which is what I did. And I was able to get 5 of these guys and 3 of the archers with these amazing armor pieces. And I tried to sprinkle some cool CMF that are castle related, some CMFs, kind of around the place. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's even some snow drifts on top of the towers, as well as above the causeway. Very nice. Without further ado, let's take a look at the next modified section of the castle. Next up, we have the house portion of the castle. This used to be a part of like an L portion of the wall, as well as a tower that went around behind the keep. I made this one more of a freestanding bit. I put it on the snowy base as well, kept the target, the ivy running up the sides, as well as the different chicken builds. Also kept the blackbird on top, but I added these smoke details as well as snow along the top, and I put the rat underneath the stairs instead of on top. We got one of the knights that actually did come with the fortress and the CMF like barred player over here. And sadly, no portion of this wall is removable or modular, like I said. But if I remove the figure and open the door, you can see some of the interior. I tried to keep the same basic interior. I just kind of shifted things around with the new wall. Got the fireplace in there with the candle, as well as the throne-like chair and a nice carpet on the ground. And this wall, actually, I modified from the house that was over the bridge. There used to be the shield piece right here in a technical piece. I switched those out for normal colored bricks in yellow. And now this wall just kind of fits perfectly and matches up with the entire, vibe of this house. And if I put the bard back, it's got this nice residential almost feel to the inner keep of the castle. And I think the Black Falcon Knights just look so much better in this winter landscape. And I think this house turned out very nicely. I built the base up and tried to keep the tower design with these modified corner slope bricks on the sides. I did not have enough to do the front as well, so I used these wooden frame arches coming up and kind of holding the entire house elevated. And now let's take a look at the next modified portion of the Black Falcon Knight Castle. This one is one of my favorites on how they turned out. We have the wooden tower portion of the castle. I literally just took the whole top off of the main guard tower, put a big tan plate, I believe it's 8x8 tan plate on the bottom to hold up the tiles to make this very nice ornate design. Then I used all of my brown girder pieces almost, and I double stacked them with Technic pieces in them and used these cylinders and gray pieces for a base. Simply attached a ladder to the back, and you have this very nice archer's tower. I did a sloped base in white and added some dead grass pieces as well. You can also see the archer figure that also came in the Black Falcon Knight Fortress originally, and one of my newer knights, which I prefer with this nice armor piece in the tower above. I really, really like how this wooden tower turned out, and let's move on to the last portion of the modified castle. This is the one that I modified the most. So for any of the other castle portions that had some of the base left, I kind of combined all the pieces with several of my own pieces to make almost this keep-like tower. We have some very nice trees on the side with little bits of snow. And the top of the tower, I really like how it was curved slightly with the shield tiles as well. We got one of the newer archers as well as one of the knights. And I made my own custom pole right here with a torch on top. And I did not have the pieces to make one of the door entrances, so I made a snowdrift along the back to cover up where the entrance would be, and I still think that looks very aesthetically pleasing. We have some mushrooms and one of the knights on the ground. There's 2 arrow slots on this side, none on this side, no windows either. And I also kept the function where you can open the back and see into the dungeon. We have a table and a gauntlet, or a chalice right there. And he's even got a little bed in the corner. And this wall just sits on that jumper down there. And I can just slide in and pop it down. And it's just a nice part of the wall again. And you can actually access the interior another way as well. The mechanism is not the best. There we go. Actually, that worked pretty well that time. This whole portion comes off. There's only 2 jumpers right there holding it in. And you can see we have an armory right inside. Several of the new arrow color, the arrow pieces in the new color that came with the CMF. Then we have some shield tiles to make some nice ornate floor patterns, as well as an axe and sword on the other weapon stand. There's also some wooden beams as well as stone beams mixed in there. I didn't have enough of one color, so I decided to mix and match. My one flaw with that design, though, is you can faintly see right there brown and gray difference. But I feel like when you're farther away and just looking at it, it doesn't bother me as much. And if I can remove it easily, this portion of the castle actually is removable. And you can see straight down inside to the dungeon. How cool is that? This portion of the castle took the longest for me to design and to build because it took so many more of my own parts I looked through. I tried to keep a lot of the original parts of the set included, like the dungeon wall breaking away. You can see I used several arches to go over the windows and some modified corner bricks to give it the more rounded a feel. This was when I was still plotting out the whole shape of everything, and I couldn't decide how big I wanted to be, but I definitely wanted to bring that middle section out. Not quite sure how high I wanted to be it yet, but I decided later just to kind of cap it off at that midsection. You can see here are some of the inner working details. When I was building up the sides, I used some wooden or brown pieces to represent wooden frame to hold up that second portion, and I think the process went along very well from that point once I had the first floor done in an original design. Here I was using a lot of these modified slope bricks coming off to trying to figure out design. It was very fragile at the time because I'd yet to reinforce it, and the roof function worked well. I ended up taking off a jumper though to make the roof access a little easier and so it doesn't break as easily. But I think the whole build turned out very well in the end. Now you can get a better look at the armory portion, and it also sits on an 8x8 tan plate, and the wooden frame on either side has some tiles, which if I line it up just right and drop it, it slips right into place and covers up the floor perfectly. Same with the upper portion, although this one's a little trickier with the side panels. I can do this one-handed. There we go, just like that. Pops down, and we have the roof done. I've debated whether or not I want to add a catapult on top, but that would mean less room for minifigures. So comment down below if it should be a minifig topped tower or a catapult topped tower. Either way, I feel like this portion turned out very well. This was mostly my own design with little bits of inspiration from the actual castle with the shield tiles, windows, and these columns that run down the side. And I think it turned out very well indeed. And as for displayability, how much better does that look than the original set? It's their own separate entities. While it's very cohesive, I added the cart from the medieval blacksmith shop just for another pop of color and added detail. And I just love how these builds look together. As you can see, they don't connect. They're their own freestanding thing. So you could rearrange this however you want. If you wanted the keep to be over here instead and the tower to be over here, you could also do that. There's so much more rearranging to be done now in this design. How cool is this? I think this turned out incredible for my first big mock project. And although some of the builds, there was very little modifying needed to happen. This feather came off. I feel like it turned out well from the little modifications to the pretty big modifications. And I feel like the entire Black Falcon Knight castle just looks better now. I just love how this project turned out. This is one of my first big mock projects I was saying earlier. So I'm excited with how well everything turned out. And as you can see, as I'm demonstrating now, it's just so easy to move around and position them and tell so many different stories. But this is obviously my favorite arrangement of the builds. Well, there we go. My Black Falcon Knight upgraded fortress is complete. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe for more awesome LEGO related content. And comment below what your thoughts are on this new updated version of the amazing 3-in-1 castle set. If you want to see more awesome LEGO content now though, you can check it all out on the end screen now. See you guys later. Farewell.